Mr. Nibbles?
We are talking about You're Not Alone. This one is directed by Eduardo Rodriguez and is essentially a kind of haunted house home invasion style film. And what we have here, we have this woman who has had a suicide attempt at some point in her past, and she has since then kind of left her husband and her daughter. Now her husband has died somehow, and now she is left in charge of this young girl and the property. She obviously hadn't had much experience with her young daughter, so it's a little bit awkward. Now, as she goes into the house, obviously she's struggling. She's had kind of obviously mental issues beforehand, suicide, but there also seems to be the added pressure of some type of malevolent force in the house, seemingly wanting to cause harm to this family. What will happen? You have to watch the movie to find out. So let's talk about, first of all, what works. Okay, I thought the acting in this movie was actually a step above average here. I thought both the actress who plays the young girl and the mother did an excellent job of portraying their respective characters. And I really felt like the struggle that both of these were having with each other and the situations that presented themselves. I thought the outstanding acting, to be quite honest with you, from the pair of these, but also, you know, perfectly good acting from the kind of the supporting cast as well. Only one guy, I think, hams it up a little bit, and that's, I think, because more of the script and what his character is asked to do, but for the most part here, the acting is extremely good. I think the movie kind of, it is more of a mystery. I'm trying to be somewhat vague with the plot here, because it has a few kind of twists and turns within the film, and it's, you know, it sets itself up as somewhat of an intriguing kind of setup. We don't quite know what's going on. A few theories are kind of banded around at the beginning of the kind of the movie, or then the film progresses. But you don't really kind of understand, obviously, until obviously the film is completed. At that point, obviously, you know, you can make your own choice about what you thought about it. But you know, it's an interesting premise that I think, even though it doesn't give you all the answers straight away, it still kind of is an interesting ride and keeps you wanting to find out, which I think is sometimes these movies try just too vague, and you just don't know what's going on, and you kind of lose interest. This one, I'm pleased to say, doesn't do that. There are kind of a few creepy moments here, and you know, a couple of jump scares and things like that. What doesn't work, it's pretty much a standard, you know, haunted house home invasion story. There isn't much here story-wise that makes it kind of stand out in any particular way. Visually, it's serviceable. It's shot well, but there's no real, you know, strength of style here. It just looks like a serviceable, perfectly made film, but it doesn't have any type of real pop to it, if that makes sense. The special effects, relatively muted as well. It feels kind of much more like a kind of a TV movie than some of these. And I have to say, there is the twist that happens at the third act, I think, will maybe be somewhat divisive. I actually got to say, I think it was a little silly. I'm not going to tell you what it is, obviously, but I'll say that it's not really earned. I think to have a twist that kind of comes out of nowhere, you know, you need to drop more clues really about what it could be. I think you can't really have a twist and go, "Ha, look how clever I am with this twist," when there's not much work to be done kind of setting that up. I think that you can look back and think, "Oh, do you know what? I missed those clues." It doesn't really do that because the twist is really somewhat of a kind of an unexpected one, which some people might like. But when you look at the logic of it and the kind of the physics and what you see on screen, it doesn't make sense. Because it suggests when you're watching the movie it's one thing, in the reality it's something else, but within that reality it doesn't make sense because there's things that happen, physical things that happen that kind of defy logic, is all I'm going to say. So I felt like it wants to have its kind of cake and eat it. Unfortunately, as I say, the third act for me was a little weak, and the FU moment at the end, I hate that, but there you go. Overall, I think this movie is elevated by some strong acting, but it's a mediocre film at the end of the day with a kind of somewhat pedestrian script and not particularly a lot of kind of pizzazz behind the camera, but serviceable. Not bad, serviceable. But to me, the biggest issue is really the third act. I think the third act, it fell down a little bit in regards to storytelling. 5 out of 10. It's just going to be a bang on average one for me. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.